Hi, thank you for joining us. This is Morgan at Splendid.yoga. We're going to use some blocks today. If you don't have blocks, grab a towel or a blanket. We'll start with dragonfly pose. In the yin variation, dragonfly is a wide-legged split. So send your legs out wide, and here we have a lot of options. Bring your hands behind you and lean back a little bit. If your hamstrings are really tight, this is probably going to feel more comfortable. If you have your blocks, place them underneath your knees. If you're feeling pretty open, you can bring your hands forward and walk them forward into the forward fold. And you can use those blocks as tinker toys to create some support under your forearms, under your chest, under your forehead. I'll show you those options. You want to find the position that you can relax into. So there's a stretch happening somewhere in your body. Feel it. We'll hold this pose for a few minutes. Feel gravity pulling you down. Notice where your muscles start to grip. Notice how much they really want to contract, how much they want to help. Remind them very sweetly, you don't need their help right now. You need them to relax. That's how they can help you. Relaxing helps most of us. Notice how the sensation moves around. Sometimes this one just transfers to my belly. Soften your belly, your neck, especially that space right at the base of your skull. Really let it go. Place your hands on the ground. Let your head hang heavy, really heavy. And walk your hands towards you to roll your spine into its optimum alignment. Let's move into supine bound angle with your blocks. So take one block and place it behind you. I'm going to do the shortest setting. And take the other block and place it a little bit taller, so that would be the middle setting for me. And lay back so that the short block lands behind your heart and the taller block lands underneath your head with the edge right up against the base of your skull. You should feel good. Now, if you don't have blocks, you can just lay on the ground. Bring your feet together and your knees wide, like the butterfly legs. We'll do it a little bit differently this time. Place your right foot on top of your left, so the edge is resting on the edge. No effort. It just gets into a little bit different part of the hip. Now let yourself melt down. And for the next few minutes, I'll tell you when to switch legs. If it's not comfortable, you can just set that right foot back on the ground next to the left. For some of us, it may feel nice to take the block that's underneath the head and place it off to the side so the head just comes down to the ground. It's a bigger back bend. Feels nice for some of us. Let the front of your shoulders relax. And feel your ears pulling the sides of your face down. And switch out your feet. All right, take your time coming out of this one. If you still have the block underneath your head, place it off to the side. Set your feet on the ground underneath your knees. Lift your hips up so that your back comes off of the block. Then scooch the block down so that it's underneath your tailbone, like your butt cheeks, not your low back, your cheeks. So if you need some more support here, or some softer support rather, you can place a blanket on top of the block if it feels a little hard on your sacrum. Or if you'd like to get a little taller here in your supported bridge, you can take that other block and place it on top, but keep it at the widest setting here so that as much of your spine is supported, that bottom spine, that sacrum area. And you can land with your feet underneath your knees, the traditional bridge. If your hips really love that bound angle, you can bring your feet together and your knees wide. A whole different ball game for those adductors, your inner thigh muscles. Or you could straighten one leg along the floor. Maybe the other one wants to join. And that one's nice for your psoas. Melt down. Imagine if your mat and the blocks underneath you were a big stack of pancakes, vegan pancakes, of course. And you were a big dab of butter, vegan butter, right on top, melting over just off the griddle pancakes. Allow yourself to melt so luxuriously, deliciously melt down. For these last few minutes, if you'd like to take the shoulder stand variation, send your legs straight up, like they're up the wall. This one's especially nice if you have tired legs, if you've been standing a lot. Helps the lymphatic system drain excess fluid to your kidneys so it can be moved out of your system. And gently set your feet back on the ground, underneath your knees. Lift your hips just high enough to slide the blocks out from underneath you. We'll set up for Shavasana. You can straighten your legs or set the blocks underneath your knees. Land in a position that feels really easy for your low back, especially after a lot of back bends. Sometimes laying flat on your back can cause some grumpiness for those back muscles. So if you need to, set your feet on the ground underneath your knees, but mat distance apart, and rest your knees against each other. This should feel easier. Let's take 2 minutes here. You can take longer, but I'll let you know when 2 minutes is up. Relax your legs. Relax your shoulders. Relax your face. Relax your thoughts right underneath your scalp. Allow them to soften. And take a deep inhale through your nose. Fill up your belly, right behind your belly button. And open your mouth, get rid of it. Namaste, friends.